What's up everybody, Peter Does Photography here, back with another video. So today's video is going to cover my pros, cons, grievances, experience, etc. with the R6 over the last 6 months. Now this is the second time I've tried to film this video. The first time I didn't have my mic on like its boom stand it's on right now. It was sitting on the desk and the whole audio, honestly I have no idea what happened. It sounded like you threw it in a toaster and then the microwave, and then threw the microwave in the bath. Yeah, it was horrible. So here we are again for a second time, but again we're going to look over the pros and cons for me, my grievances and my experience with the R6. So I'm going to start off with my grievances. I'm not going to call them really cons, they are I suppose, but really they're kind of grievances. I'm being nitpicky here, however it really just drives me nuts considering the cheaper cameras can do it, and I think the new R7 can do this. However, there is no option for dual recording with an external monitor and the small LCD screen that I'm looking at just now. I normally have an external monitor, however halfway through filming this kind of introduction here, it just crapped out, it just died, so great. I might charge the battery in that one as well. The reason this annoys me is when I have my camera on its rig, I like to have the LCD screen kind of flush against the V-mount battery, have the external monitor on top. It just gives me something else to look at. Sitting on a tripod, I can have it there, I can have the monitor. It's just an extra information display, and I think it just annoys me more the fact that the EOS R can do it, Sony can do it, Fujifilm can do it, Panasonic can do it, and I think the new R7 can do it, and I know the R5 can as well. It just seems a pretty stupid thing to handicap the camera with. I'm really unsure why they did that. My next issue with the camera, which is more of a practical issue, is the camera has the custom modes, the CR 1, 2 and 3. You can't use them for video settings. Now the issue with that, you can use it to save photo presets, so like you have your shutter speed, aperture, etc. ISO set on custom 1 for landscape for talking sake, then number 2 can be for sports shooting. We can't do that for video on the R6. It'd be nice to be able to save different functions on these for video, such as CR1 we could use for 4K 60, CR2 we can use for 4K 24, and then number 3 we could either use like a photo profile or just have another video profile in it. It just means there's no tactile switching between modes. For instance, if you want to change to 4K 60 from 4K 24, you're going in through the menu, you'll change it to 4K 60, confirm, and then you're ready to go. It'd be nice just to be able to go click those little things and just be done with it. So for that reason, if you are a true hybrid shooter, you do a lot of video work, I maybe would consider looking at the R5. Even though it is a bit more expensive, it's going to stop you going nuts. My kind of third gripe about the camera really is the weather sealing. Now it is weather sealed, which is great, however it's kind of on the same level as like the old 6D Mark IIs, the kind of 6D cameras. It was weather sealed, but just not to the point the kind of 1DX series was. The R5 is properly full on weather sealed like all the kind of pro DSLRs of the day. R6 is still weather sealed, so you're still protected there, it's just not as much as you would maybe hope to be. And one last thing about the video, and now this personally doesn't affect me, simply because when you put this onto Facebook, Instagram, social media sites in general, YouTube, it's going to be compressed anyway. However, the 4K is what's called IPB compression. Now the R5, the R3, C70, they all shoot in All-I, which is less compressed. However, again, once you put this online, social media, it's going to be compressed anyway, you're not going to notice, and I dare someone to try and comment and say that you would notice the difference, because I guarantee you will not. However, now that we're done with the kind of negatives or cons etc, onto the positives, which there are plenty of. The camera has IBIS, so when you're doing handheld video work, it's absolutely amazing. When I was doing the studio session for the guys in Inferium, it's a Scotland band, fantastic, check them out, I'll leave a link down below. When I was doing their studio session music video, being able to have this rigged up in handheld and have the IBIS, so I'm kind of walking around doing my thing. Picture is absolutely amazing, nice and stable, no need for a gimbal. Gimbals have their place, but being able to go handheld is always a bonus. The next thing is the ISO capabilities in this camera. Now I hate going over, I hate being anywhere near 10,000 ISO. I just don't like being there, even though I know the camera can deal with it absolutely fine. It's just something I just don't like to do. However, there was a situation a while ago, I was photographing a band and one of the members really likes a certain shot. Now it's when he crouches down on stage, and the venue we were in, as soon as he crouched down, he disappeared, he was gone. So I've been able to just bump that ISO way up to, I think it was 25,600, which is nowhere near where I would like to be. I managed to get the picture looking absolutely stellar. Now, I did use a little bit of noise reduction on Lightroom, which you can't not do at high ISOs like that. You have to just toggle that wee switch a wee bit just to get rid of any of that excess noise in the edit. However, the photograph came out absolutely stellar. The guy was really happy, and I couldn't believe the camera, especially with the 17-35 I've got on right now being over 15 years old. The focusing speed, the sharpness of the image, the fact that I was able to get such a high quality image at such a high ISO really speaks for Canon, the new mirrorless R systems, and especially old EF glass. The next bonus for me as well, especially shooting events and film work and all that kind of thing, silent shutter. This camera does 20 FPS silently. Now you can do 12 FPS in mechanical, and I do that for live events like gigs, etc., because the banding you get with an electronic shutter can be a bit wild, so having a mechanical shutter kind of alleviates that issue. So I do a lot of photographs on film sets, and you need to be absolutely silent. I used to be on sets with the 1DX, and you know what that's like. Chunk, 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 chunk. Sound guys hated me, they always kind of gave me a funny stare, so I would always have to wait till they'd wrapped, grab what photos I could, and then obviously wait till the next scene was over. However, now I could be over that DP shoulder, snapping away there. Absolutely fine, you never know I was there. One thing that people seem to be running into with the R6, the R5, I'm not sure about the R3, I haven't heard anything from it yet, the overheating issue. Personally, I haven't had an issue with overheating. I shoot everything in 4K 24. This talking head stuff, the video I did, the other commercial video I did for the boxing stuff, done all that in 4K 24, sat for hours and had no overheating issues. It was the perfect time for the camera to overheat as well. During the Inferium video shoot, it was the peak of summer in Scotland. It was about 50 degrees in this little cube. The camera took it like a champ, there was no overheating, I had no warning, and I'm pretty sure the 1.6 firmware has taken away the warning. Someone correct me down below. But personally, I've never had an issue with overheating. I'd maybe need to try shoot a lot in 4K 60 to see if that's what everyone's complaining about. Personally, 4K 24 just looks much better anyway. And the only time I would use 4K 60 is if I'm trying to slow something down, because the R6 has 120 FPS. It's just in 1080p. It's not the best 1080p either, so if you just shoot 4K 60, slow that down, absolutely mint. I've actually just noticed that there's a clock in here, and the time on the video, each second actually syncing up with the ticker on that clock there. It's a satisfying little happy accident. So what do I think of the R6 overall? Could it be improved? Yes, it could be improved in certain places, such as the custom function button. I dare say they could bring that in with a firmware update. I don't see them doing it, because again, that's one step closer to the R5. And I think Canon want to keep that divide between the R6 and the R5. However, they've absolutely nailed everything else on the camera. The screen is great, the EVF is great, the button layout, the feel of the controls. People complain about the body feeling more plasticky than the R5. Are you throwing it in your truck bed? Are you throwing it in the car? I don't know why anyone would do that. Personally, I haven't had an issue. I also have a small rig cage on the camera at all times anyway, so it's kind of protected. So if I could, would I recommend the R6 over the R5? I probably would recommend the R6 over the R5 for the simple reason that it's £2,000 less expensive and it's almost as good as the R5. If you have the cash, go ahead and buy the R5, hell, even buy the R3 or the R1 if they decide to bring that out. But the R6 holds itself up against the R5 without a doubt, and the new Canon R7, which I'll be looking to pick up as well, really holds its own against the R6 also. These cameras shoot in C-Log 3, just like the Canon cinema cameras. You get cinema gamut, which I'm filming in right now. The cameras are absolutely stellar nowadays, and you can't go wrong with any brand that you buy. You'll get a good quality camera regardless. The R6 for me over the last 6 months has performed amazing. It's been in hot temperatures, it's been in cold temperatures. It definitely lends itself to a sturdy pro mirrorless camera. So with that being said, thanks very much for watching. Smash that like button as well and comment down below whether you think the R6 is worth it over the R5 because of the extra cost, or if you would just go for the R5 straight away. Thank you for watching. Peace out.